evening, good evening, good evening. Yeah, we were a few minutes late there. We were chatting about all kinds of things there. I forgot we had a show to do. Sorry about that. Yeah, it is season 5, episode 35 of the Plastic Crack podcast. Your Monday night's silliness, really, about wargaming and all kinds of fun gaming stuff. And we're joined again by Ken. He's back for good now, I think. Is it for good?
Yeah, it's for good. Apart from next week, because I'm not an idiot like you lot and going after CrackCon.
No stamina. I was going to say what channel he's from, but he probably can't remember anyway.
No.
Martin, again, from Seventh Son over there in the corner.
Hello.
I'm Martin and Steve from On Point HQ down there. And myself, obviously, from Boots on the Table, because you're watching it on Boots on the Table, so I should imagine you know it's from there. I hope everyone's well on this.
Yeah.
It's absolutely trashing it down outside. I don't know what it's like where you are at the moment. It's
Unpleasant.
horrible.
It's not very nice.
Yeah,
Not very nice.
Bit grim.
It's
It's
Looking forward to getting under the
and
duvet.
cold.
What are you gonna, I was about to say something very silly like what you're going to do under the duvet, but knowing you, that's really not something I wanted to ask.
It's 4 minutes past 8 and we're already in the gutter. Top work.
Oh, gee whiz. So it is the Monday before the CrackCon. It is when we all panic about all the stuff we got to do. I certainly had a little panic this morning, that's for sure.
A wobble.
It was a micro wobble. It was fine, and you put me in my ease. So well done. Let's have a look who's in the chat. We've got Don's here. What are you doing, Don? You should be out partying it up, mate. You shouldn't be. He's in London.
Yeah, just take an umbrella. You'll be fine.
True. Yeah. So he's here. Rich is here. Glenn Durr is here. He's working on some crossbowmen. Very nice indeed. Lazy Pirate Painting. Damp Bristol. Putting together some Moonstone miniatures. Nice.
Cool.
Oh, nice.
Moonstone.
Damp? Do you mean moist, sir?
Oh, moist, yes. We don't do damp. We do moist only. And Jam, he's here. Hippo Hobby Hours. Good evening, all from a drizzly and bleak Belgium. On the desk with some Freebooters Fate tonight.
Oh, those are awesome minis. I've got a
don't know
whole
that.
load of
They
those.
good?
They it's a pirate game, skirmish war game. That came out. It's German, but the sculptor is. Do you know Reaper miniatures?
Yeah.
It's one of the sculptors who did loads of the Reaper miniatures. And it's a little bit. It's a bit like Moonstone. There's goblin pirates. There's a goblin version of Napoleon, like on a donkey. And there's the Assassin's Creed style masquerade assassins that I've got. Oh, that was a short return.
Oh, thank God for that. I thought we'd never get rid of him.
Well, and then he was gone. And then there's a whole host of little ones. It's card driven. There's a really interesting combat mechanic, really fun. It's all to do with like
Oh, geez.
gone. No, the combat mechanic in it's quite fun. It's kind of like you have a number of attack cards, and it says like head, torso, left arm, right arm, and depending on what your attack ability is, if it's free, you would select 3 of those cards, and the defender picks them, and you play them off against each other.
Oh, I like the sound of that.
And then you can, if you get 2 hits on the same place, that's a critical. You can stab someone in the nuts. But the models are absolutely fantastic. Really characterful little models. They're all metal as well. I've got quite a lot of them actually kicking around. I bought them just because I love painting them. I got this guy with a sort of a plague mask on stilts, wielding a scythe. So like that seems practical. But yeah, that's a blast from the past. They're always at Salute. Always.
Oh, really? I've never seen them.
They're just one of those ones, one of those little stabs. One of the missions in the rulebook, in the starter rulebook, is there's 20 rats on the table, and they're stealing the beer, and you've got to get the beer back from the rats.
I like it. That is awesome. I'm not sure about the setting, but I quite like the system. Sounds amazing. That sounds like something I used to play many moons ago at Heston Wargaming Club, which was our Christmas fantasy game, where we play this thing where you you had to sort of, so if your character went strike, the defender had to parry it in some way, and they only had certain parries and strikes and things, and all sorts of other actions.
I don't think it's is that dissimilar from Moonstone.
Right.
Really, Moonstone I think has a very similar mechanic, because that's card driven as well.
Oh, cool. Well, that's brilliant. I learned something today. Thank you, Hippo. Mike is here. He says, evening all from a windy West Cape, South Africa. It's even windy and wet in the South Africa. God damn it. Lionheart's here. Mobile and Hostile is here. Road Trooper. Gary. John Sarby's here. Red Steph is here. Rich M. Hello, good evening, mate. He says, evening all, finishing the final basing of the Gauls for CrackCon tonight.
Excellent.
Thick clouds and light rain here in Stratford tonight. You're lucky it's light. It's absolutely biblical here again. What else we got? Martin's here. Martin Huey's here. What's he doing? He's in Jersey, a chilly but dry Jersey. Very nice. I don't think we've got a Jersey on the map, have we? I don't know. I must update the map. Must find a map that actually has a bit more detail on it. That'd be good. He's doing epic elephants.
Excellent.
Which is good. Which I need to get back to at some point. Paul's here. He says it's a damp and cloying Mercia. There you go. Whatever cloying means, I don't even know what that means. Is that worse than moist, or is that better than moist? I think
it's a step up from moist.
Do you? Okay, good to know. We need to have a gradient on moistness, clearly. Andrew, he says it's raining again in Germany, painting some explosion markers for whatever. I like it. 9999 Payden's here. Benjamin's here. He says he can't wait for Friday and Saturday. What's happening, mate? I have no idea. Carazette's here. Graham's here. Hey, Graham. How you doing, buddy? Shell Shock Scenics. Daniel's calling in from Los Angeles. I bet it's not ping it down there. David Kerr. Hello, mate. Cold but dry in the Peak District. Full of cold, so there's no hobbying.
Really?
Tonight, but I'm watching on a big screen. Really?
That must be the 2 days a year.
I was going to say,
Peak District.
I've never been to the Peak District when I've not been so.
Not me.
I mean, I love going there. But I always just dress for wet.
Yeah, I think that's default setting up there. Yeah, actually, it's not true. The only time I haven't been there when it's been wet, it's been snowing. So just frozen. Marky Sparky's here. Who is Andrew? JF is here. Ian Wright, Grand Prego. Hi, Anthony. How you doing, mate? Oh, God, I've lost place. Dutch Army Painter is here. Hello from the Netherlands. Hello, mate. Nice to see you. Cardboard Fortress. Oh, that's a good one. I like that. Cardboard Fortress. Evening all. It's a bit weather wise here. Old world dwarves and goblins on the desk tonight. You'd be pleased with that, wouldn't you, Ken? Old school FRP is here. Painted part of a fence yesterday afternoon. Too hot in South Texas. Painting figure bases indoors today. I know which I'd do, mate. I know which I'd be doing. It wouldn't be the fence, that's for sure. Craig's here. He says, morning all. It's 6 a.m. in Tasmania, Australia. Looking forward to a lovely spring day. Yeah, you get off people really quickly, don't you? You get
bastards.
I used to work with a PR. I probably told the story before. I used to work with a PR agency down in Australia, and they take great delight in ringing me on a Friday morning as I trudged into London on the London commute. And they'd call me just at the right moment when I got off the train and it was pissing it down with rain to say, have a really good day. We're just off to the beach for a barbie.
You got a barbie on, mate?
Jeez. Just used to absolutely drive me insane every time. Shaker's here. Shaker and Spruce. Hello, mate. Steve Harbour's here. Double Dip. Best name on the internet. Andy Stocker is here. Hello, mate. Mark's here. Oh, God. Trage is here. Rob and Rose. I'm losing it. It's dropping to the bottom again. Cardston. Hello, mate. Who else? Eric is here. Eric, you must have been the first one, and he says 4 people. I must be on the wrong channel. I think we're up to 126, mate, but it's probably the delay of coming in. White Stag Miniatures, hello, nice to see you.
I'm going to assume he means the 4 of us.
4 of us, yeah. I just realised that.
Oh, that's true. Yes, all right. Yeah, you got it. You got it. All right, I'm going to say hello to everybody because it's just jumped all the way to the bottom, so I've lost everything. Thanks for joining us tonight on the Monday night. We're going to be talking about skirmish gaming, which was not my fault. It was a subject. It was a suggestion from Bill. After we said last week, if anybody has any suggestions for any stream ideas, then feel free to suggest them. And he did. So I thought that's a really good one. So we're going to talk about skirmish games.
Well, I think you did quite a good thing by pushing out to what's your 3 top skirmish games rather than
just about everything to do with skirmish. Yeah, you're right.
I think we should hopefully end up with quite a good spread. I think there's 1 or 2 that are going to keep popping up, but yeah, it's going to be interesting. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, well, the earlier comments. Well, yeah, we might have to just address that to begin with, but we'll get onto that. So, reminder that we are sponsored by our friends at Boards and Swords in over there. We will be over there on Saturday for CrackCon. But if you aren't joining us, even if you are joining us, feel free to go on their website and use the code PCP5 and get an additional 5% off of
Absolutely. Absolutely. Shall I do the CrackCon thing quickly now?
Yeah,
and then people.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Sorry. Just while it's in my brain. Right. Of course. CrackCon. So all of you who are watching who aren't coming, sorry, I'll get through this as quickly as I can. For those of you who are coming, information. Now this will all go out. We'll tell you the day before, and we'll put messages up and all that stuff. First of all, if you are coming to CrackCon, or if you're just wanting to read, if you go to the files section in the Plastic Crack Podcast Facebook group, you will find the info sheet for this year. There's a reason that I can't email them all out this year, which I'll just explain on the day. But if you want them, they are there. I will try and dig out a link to that, and I'll put it in the comments, not the live comments, but I'll put it in the comments of this video. So that's just an info sheet showing you what, when, where, but all the information is available anyway. So it's just rounding everything up. Firstly, if you are coming, there is a post in the Facebook group that said, which Haley has put up, basically saying, trying to get a jump on what type of pizza everyone wants. Go on there and just say what type of pizza you want. If you don't manage to do it, don't worry. You can still order it on the day. It was just to give everyone a bit of a head start. Everyone who's ordered a Hawaiian pizza is going on a separate list, which I know.
Should not be allowed.
Why, Matt? Right, I'm looking at you. I did send him a message saying that that's the first sign of a sociopath. Then also, people who have mug and dice orders, you'll be able to pick those up when you sign in with Haley at the front door. Now, importantly, timings. So, if you are putting on a game, then please arrive no earlier than 8:45 in the morning. If you turn up earlier, we won't get let in. That gives us a chance to just set everything up and basically you know who's playing
the
where.
bottle before you arrive, probably.
Then at 8:45, you guys can come in and you'll have about an hour, just over an hour to set up. If you're turning up to participate in the day and game, then you can get there. If you've got to get there about 10 to 10, and then we will start the day at 10 o'clock on the dot. So there you go. That's that will just give us a chance in the mornings to get everything set up. If you're turning up and someone is helping you set up, just make sure we know that. What else? There was something else. If you are bringing anything for the raffle, just drop it at the door. When I say drop, I mean give to Haley or whatever. There's been loads of donations, so thank you very much. Raffle tickets. So we're doing our charity raffle. So if you want tickets, you can buy those on the day from Haley and Jill, who I'm sure will be going around and plundering all of your wallets. However, Haley has decided to bring the raffle tickets to the Tudor Bar the night before. So you have been warned. Just so you are aware, that is all confirmed. So the night before, we are heading out to the Old Bell Hotel in Derby. We've got a reservation in the Tudor room at 7 o'clock. Okay, so we basically have this room. It's got a private bar in it, and we're going to bring board games. I believe Benjamin's got a quiz. Someone else was talking about a quiz. I heard Ken's playing Twister. There's going to be all sorts with Twister. With Twister.
I'd pay to see that.
What resolved combat with it. So we've got that. That's so don't hang around waiting for like a big group. Just if you want to go over there, get there for 7. As far as I can remember, they don't do food in the Tudor Bar. So do go and eat somewhere else, or you might be able to get a meal actually in the Bell Hotel. But if you want to go and get some food at Weatherspoons, or if you're desperate to eat at the Travel Lodge, then you can. You know, we've been burnt before. So that's basically it. If anyone has got any questions, the info sheet has our phone numbers on it, for better or worse. Ken's is at the top. Or you can send us a message on Facebook, or you can shoot us an email. If there is anything at all that you're worried about, don't sit there and worry. Just send us a message. And we'll be happy. It's very chilled, very laid back, and we're all going to have a good time. Can't wait. There we go.
We are.
No negative waves. No negative waves.
Oh, I remembered the other thing. Crap. I just remembered the other thing. Sorry. So it's a little bit last minute. However, though, there is going to be a.
Oh yes.
So it's essentially a painting competition, but you don't have to have.
Golden Demons.
Well, I was about to say you don't have to paint something specific for it. So this is being run by Dan and Stuart from the Hobby Hour, and of course Stu is from Miniature Realms. So essentially, they're just saying bring along a miniature that you've painted in the last year or whenever that you're proud of. And there's going to be sweets. It's just a chance to bring something along and just celebrate the hobby that we all enjoy. There's 3 categories: a single miniature, 28mm or smaller. So if someone's got a 6mm samurai that they want to bring in, then feel free. Or bring in a unit or a small scale squadron, or bring in a large entry, so 28mm or larger, a vehicle, monster, diorama. Pop by, go and see Dan. We're going to take like a whole bunch of photos, maybe put them up in a gallery on the Facebook page, and just anything that you've done, even if it's like the OPC or anything like that, just something you're proud of. It'd just be really cool to see it, and it'd be a chance as well just to shout out all those people who have done just some awesome work. And it's not just about who's like, you know, got the Golden Demon heavy metal style. It's just going to be an opportunity to show off your work and sell it, and just, you know, celebrate it. So, and there'll be sweets. So there we go.
Sweets.
There we go. So, boom. There we go. That's the announcement.
Bosh. Done. Well done. Excellent.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I think we're all looking forward to it.
Oh shit. James, also a bit last minute. Ad hoc road trip for anyone arriving early on Friday. No tours are booked, but he'll pop a post in the group to coordinate a trip around some companies and stores in Nottingham. Just message James. There we go.
There we go. Job done. Well done. Fabulous. Well, there you go. We've addressed all the CrackCon stuff, and we may we'll definitely take lots of pictures and what have you. And for the first time ever, we will actually have a show the Monday night after CrackCon.
We will, yes.
So we can talk about it a little bit there. So,
well, we got a guest on. The whole point, the reason we agreed to do it was because the guest will do most of the talking. So they were talking. So yeah, we've been joined by Glenn from Warbases to catch up with them. But there will be some a bit of CrackCon chat.
Yeah. Good. Excellent. Well, let's get on to tonight's show then, shall we? So tonight we're going to talk about skirmish games. And the idea was, what are your top 3 skirmish games and why? As Martin said, we actually had a lot of really good comments. There were 30 comments on the original post that I put up about it. And the one thing I'd say is that there's not a lot of consensus. That's all I'm going to say. But the one question that came first of all, which a number of people did ask, okay, I even printed off the comments so I could do it. So Mike is one of the people who said, what counts as a skirmish? He says he doesn't play anything bigger than Saga, Sharp Practice, Chain of Command, but are they skirmish games?
Yes.
No.
So
they are. Yes, because I would say, and I would say a skirmish game is any game in which the individual miniature matters.
Yeah.
So anything where the individual miniature matters, where they have any effect, and you're actually dealing with that sort of level of weaponry. Yeah. So anything where a unit of 10, you have the individual don't, actually so like, in like bigger war games, it's the unit that has the statistics. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I would argue in a skirmish game, it's per model. So it's per man. Yeah. And a skirmish in those games, a skirmish is a very, very small battle. A skirmish could be 100 guys aside. That's still a skirmish. But obviously there's varying levels of skirmish game. There's gang-based games. There's squad-based games, war bands. Yeah, well, a war band is still 100. So I would say those are skirmish games. Yeah, I would.
Okay, that's good to see. I mean, it's an interesting one, isn't it? Because when I think of skirmish games, I always think of some of the really early games that I used to play many moons ago, which were probably overly complicated, where it was literally you had about 5 figures aside, and it was almost kind of you hit somebody on the right arm, and then they couldn't hit as well the next turn, and that kind of stuff. And it was really detailed stuff. But I think you're right; it's much wider than that. I'll show you what this is what the Oxford English Dictionary describes as a skirmish.
Mm-hmm.
An episode of irregular or unpremeditated fighting, especially between small or outlying parts of armies or fleets. That's what they say, which is kind of interesting. So the bit that caught me, I thought was interesting, the unpremeditated. So it's almost like they're just bumping into each other, which could actually be in quite a large game, couldn't it? In terms of a skirmish. You think?
Yeah. Depends on the scenario, doesn't it? Yeah. See, this is a weird thing for me. It's like you were saying, sharp practice.
Yeah.
See, I think it's a hard one because you can still play that as a large game.
Yeah, but it's still a skirmish because each man represents one man.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. Whereas a battalion would have 500 guys in it.
Yeah.
So, whereas a Black Powder, a unit is a battalion. It's represented by 24 guys or by however many men you put in it, because it's based on frontages and just bases. The number of models in it doesn't matter.
So whereas if a model, you wouldn't see that as a skirmish game then?
No, I wouldn't. No, because you can
40k then.
It's absolutely a skirmish game because you can have like 5 Terminators on one side, and then against 40k is absolutely is a skirmish.
Well, sorry, not 40k. I meant like the old world because that's like the comparison, isn't it?
Yeah, I'd say the old world is a skirmish game. Yeah, it's the same size as Saga.
That's weird.
Yes,
because it's only the way you think it. The individual matters. If the individual matters, I'm not saying they're bad. I love them, but if the individual matters, then I would say that they are skirmish. Bolt Action is a skirmish game.
Yeah, because
they're representing skirmish. A skirmish. Historically, we're talking like things like like Nibley Green or certain ones in like the Civil War where you still have like 300, 500 guys aside.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's just that, but. Weirdly, in modern warfare, obviously, would we argue that modern warfare is almost entirely skirmish based?
Yeah,
apart from lobbing a rocket at someone.
Well, there you go. So that's where it gets very complicated, isn't it? Because I kind of like your definition of the individual figure counts.
Yeah.
Then what about? Can it only be infantry based or cavalry based skirmish? Can you have maritime skirmish? Can you have aero skirmish?
Yeah, absolutely.
And the same principle applies. It's one ship, one.
Yeah, but I think you can also use mass battle rules. I'm going to go Hail Caesar to represent skirmishes because I've played games where I've only got one division. Yep. And that, if historically, that would if that's representing 500 to 1,000 guys, I'll still say that is a skirmish,
Yeah.
Or a small, it's that thing, isn't it? Small battle skirmish, where do you
I mean, ultimately, it doesn't really matter, does it? But it just interests me because you're right. Small battle versus skirmish, it's a very close thing, isn't it? It's very difficult to sort of know which is which. And but it was interesting. It struck me reading through people's suggestions. there was quite a difference between what I would have considered a sort of bigger scale battle game as opposed to a proper skirmish, a few figures aside kind of thing. Your what's the one you love? Space Weirdos, that kind of thing, which is what.
That's the as far as people involved goes. That's the far end. I mean, there's less than 10 figures involved in the game Space Weirdos, which for me that's a skirmish game for me. It's small, it's individual. Like Martin said, the individual matters, the individual counts. There's more of a sort of a micro look at the fighting rather than a broad sort of abstract. If that makes sense.
Yeah, you also command and control will play a factor, but not as big a factor as you will have in generally. These are all quite general things, aren't they? But you think about skirmish games like Bolt Action, there is a small command and control system in there, but whenever I played it, it didn't really matter. But that might be why I lost so much. But like I'm sure we'll come on to it when we chat about them. But there's small battles and skirmishes of basically characterized warfare and multiple. The Dark Ages, if we're going to call it that was predominantly.
That's almost exclusive skirmishing, isn't it?
Small battles, small battle skirmishes. And when they did get their shit together and have a big battle, it still wasn't. We're not talking. If you look at like Hastings, it's a lot, but not one rocket. Yeah.
He can't help to get it in there. No, it's interesting because, as I say, that was. I'm not entirely sure I understand what I think of as a skirmish game versus another kind of small unit game, but that's not really a thing either, is it? But
you could say small battle game.
Yeah.
But then a small battle's a skirmish.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, exactly.
Can you play skirmish in 6 mil?
Well, if it's small battle,
the board would just be a coaster.
Well, again, I mean, that was actually one of the other questions somebody put up was, does the table size matter?
Well, in that case, is Emu Wars a skirmish game at 6 mil?
Definitely,
because they're all individual figures. They're all individual emus and individual machine guns.
Yeah, exactly. Was as somebody said in the chat, I've just lost it already. Oh yeah, Red Steph said. Was Ian's Trafalgar game last year at Krakow? Was that a skirmish? Because it was one.
That's interesting. Yeah. See that.
Because it was one ship. He had every ship that was in Trafalgar there. It's not I wouldn't have said that was a skirmish game, but is that just because it was a boat game? I don't know.
It's not possible with a lot of I know some people generally it is not possible with infantry base games to do 1-to-1.
No, unless you're nuts, especially if it's a Napoleonic battle.
Yeah, it's I don't know. Anyway, maybe we're getting distracted, but it's interesting, isn't it? And it was only when I started, I wrote down all the different suggestions, of which there's multitude of them. But some of them, like there was things like, Chain of Command featured quite a lot. There were 4 people who, out of 30 comments, who'd listed Chain of Command as one of theirs. Now, I didn't immediately think of that as a skirmish game. Maybe that's my mistake, but that was kind of one of the things that I thought, not sure about that. Interesting.
They're not individual figures, though, are they?
In Chain of Command, they are, yeah.
Yes, they are.
They are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you build it.
They're individual elements, aren't they? So
you build it around a platoon. Where so everything there is one for one.
What am I bloody thinking? What's the game that I played with Robin?
O group. No, Battle Group.
Battle Group. Yeah, I'm thinking of Battle Group. No, that's not a skirmish game.
Well, is it? No, I wouldn't have said so, but interesting.
But you can have small platoon size. It's platoon size, isn't it? Or is it company? No, it's company level, isn't it?
Company.
Yeah,
it's company.
This really got me thinking now. Never mind, it's Monday night, and I'm thinking, do this.
That's not a good sign, is it?
All right. Well, let's rather than, and I've realised. Thank you, Martin. I completely skipped over what we've been working on this week, but that was
You've set the seeds. No, you've got the seeds mulling.
Yeah,
now,
you've
so
got the seeds.
it's a good one.
Yeah. Okay. I completely missed that. Well, let's just do what we think of our favourite, what we consider to be our top 3 skirmish games first. Then we'll do the what we've been working on. Then we'll talk about what the chat have been saying, because there is so many things coming in. It will take me forever to keep up. So, what do you reckon, Martin? What if you were to name one skirmish game?
Are we going to do what? Just keep going.
Yeah, do one, and we'll just go around.
Okay, so I'm going to put one up, which again, you only need a few models aside. Everyone who's played this game that I've played it with, including all of you, have bought it.
It's not Western themed, is it?
Maybe. I got a lot of shit for this, but I one of my favorites is Dead Man's Hand.
Yeah,
absolutely, Dead Man's Hand.
That's on my list for sure.
I think it's a great game with
a fun game,
straightforward mechanics, which aren't overcomplicated, but do rely on you being able to suspend disbelief a little bit. But I really like the way it plays. It's quick to set up, it's fun, it's easy to collect, because you only need, well, I mean, most gangs you can have 7 figures, but if you didn't want to do that, you could just have 5. Most of the starting scenarios in each of the because you play a trilogy of scenarios in each game, basically, is usually starts out with just 1 or 2 guys and goes up to 3 or 4, and then you're in 7 by the end. There is so much content for this game now, and Westerns are great fun. This was one of the games we had where I was using that ruined church, and I just had these 2. That's my rubbish version of Butch and Sundance. For those people who want a little bit of a weird kick into it, they've got the zombie expansion that you can put them in, because zombies in a Western. They're on their 2nd edition. The game is really, really popular. They're on their 2nd edition, essentially the 2nd edition, the Redux. They've got enough gangs now that are out that they're actually putting out expansion books to put all the goodies in and all the baddies in. They've got there's multi-part plastic kits. They've got some, we're going to talk about it in the news, but there's another one going to Kickstarter soon. They've got multi-part plastic buildings. It's a game that's going strength to strength. So I would always encourage people, if you want to laugh, or even if you're not, it's a very good gateway game, I think. Because I think people would play this even if they're not hugely into wargaming. I think, come on, it's a Western. So that's my shout.
But is it historical, Martin?
It can have a DeLorean in it. So
yeah, I think it's a really good shout. It was on my list. I think that's an absolute cracker, and I think it's almost the definition of a skirmish game, isn't it? It really, for me, it's a couple of 6 figures to 8 figures aside, and it's individual. What happens to that figure matters.
Yeah, if they fall off a roof. then
even better.
Then it matters. If you fight against your ginger friend over there while 2 other people hide in buildings and then pick you off after you're done, like what happened last year. Well,
if you're fool enough to run down an alleyway in front of your chicken, you're going to get shot down.
My old granny lady didn't run anywhere.
What about you, Steve? I think I know what your first one was.
First one, I've mentioned it once or 5 million times. Space Weirdos. It just captures everything that I want in a tabletop game. It's 4 to 5 figures aside. It's a really small playing area, 2 foot by 2 foot, 3 foot by 3 foot, depending on your points. The rules, £5. That's it. No expansions, no codexes, no campaign books, just £5 of War Games Vault for the rules. The rules themselves, how long did it take you to learn the rules of Space Weirdos last year?
About a minute.
Yeah. The rules are just so simple to learn. You can learn them in once you've played a couple of turns.
I wouldn't say that, Steve. I say once you played 1 turn.
Yeah,
Really?
so you know how the dice types work. So modifies a dice type. So if you're firing with a D8 and you shoot at someone behind cover, it goes down to a D6. And it just represents it's a really, really simple way of rather than me sitting there going through charts. Well, -2 here and +3 there. You just do the dice type. The main thing for me though is it's fun. It's just a fun game. There's nothing sort of.
It ain't predictable.
It was not predictable, no. And it's very comic book as well. And you can. I mean, if a game lasts longer than 45 minutes, that's a rarity, because normally people have all been wiped out by them. But for me, it's quintessential skirmish. It's small, individual characters. The game has got no background whatsoever, zero background, zero fluff, zero lore. So you're just free to make your own. Just take those mechanics and run with them. It's what I think it's for £5. It's one of the best rule sets I have ever bought. Just a great game, really enjoyable. And what was great about it was last year after CrackCon, I got home and about 10 minutes later, I had a message on my phone, and it was Evil Jim. Mm-hmm. And he'd just gone out and he bought the rule book, and he just ordered some Stargrave figures as well, because he played it at CrackCon. Same with John as well, and he plays a lot of it now as well, and he's been expanding the rules to incorporate Zona Alpha. So it's a great rule set that you can. The mechanics are there, and you can do anything.
Adapt it, can't you?
Yeah, anything. I mean, I was thinking about adapting it for like 1920s, 30s gangsters. Mm-hmm. The mechanics are all there. Because there's no, it's quite agnostic, completely miniature agnostic as well. As long as if you went in and just changed all the weapons and stuff, I think you could set it in any period, any conflict, historical, fantasy, you name it, it works. I would recommend anyone have a go of it. It's brilliant.
It got quite a few votes in the that and Sword Weirdos got a few votes within the suggestions that people put up. So,
Sword Weirdos is on my list for sort of later this year, because I want that terrain that I've been building. Mm-hmm. So I want to use that for Sword Weirdos. I've actually got to get some figures. I haven't actually got that many fantasy figures that I can use in Sword Weirdos. So I'm going to be doing a bit of shopping. But yes. So the Weirdos books are definitely recommended.
Generally weirdo. Yeah, there's a surprise with you around. What about you, Ken? What would be a skirmish game if you're lot?
Oh, God.
Here we go.
I'm going to stir it up. So mine's going to be quite a large skirmish game, because I think it's probably one of the best set of rules I've ever played. I really enjoy it. So even though it's got battle in the name, Middle-earth strategy battle.
Okay. Yeah. Good shout.
Yeah.
I nearly put that in my top 3, but I figured someone else.
Yeah, I had to. So. I had to. I love it. Every time I play it, I always mention when you shoot a bow, it's one of my favorite rules. It's something so simple. It's in the way
rule.
Yeah. I love it. Any obstacle in the way, you have to take a test for it. And it's one of my favorite rules. But I really enjoy playing it, and I think it's nice how you can have you can just play heroes against heroes in it if you want to, or you can play without any heroes. Obviously, heroes are equal, but you want to just have a straight up sort of fight. It is, you can recreate the scenes from the movies in it. Just happy days. That's all I can say to that.
I think I really enjoy it. I enjoy the scenarios a lot. Well, I wouldn't say a lot more than match play. I think it's fun. I think it's a fun game, but I really enjoyed the scenario.
I prefer scenario. Yeah.
100%. See if we can get Boromir killed,
yeah,
stuff like that.
Yeah,
but there's some really good. Yeah. Oh, I do as well. I mean, I think it's been said before, and I think it, and by quite a few people, but it is the best set of rules that GW ever produced.
Mm-hmm.
And it certainly stood the test of time.
It's not had a lot of edits, has it? Really?
Not really. The core, nothing's really changed from the core mechanic, and you still have to cross-reference a little chart, don't you? Strength or fight and fight or whatever it is. Yeah, you still got to do that. That is a good. It's a good one. It's a new starter set coming out, so it's not going anywhere. Although that could just be them holding on to the license, but
yeah.
I must admit, I mentioned, I think last week, I actually really quite like watching the games people put on YouTube channel. I've never played it, but I do like the setting as a thing. But the gameplay just looks a little simple. But maybe that's just me just watching it, or maybe it's just most of the people I watch seem to be competition, and it's quite sort of, lots of blocking going on. All that kind of stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot. That's why I think the scenarios in it. I think the system works best, in my opinion, with scenarios, because rather than just victory points. And you have the might, will, and fate factor. You've got little special abilities that you can trigger. And I've watched battle reports as well, and people seem to do more with that kind of stuff in actual scenario-driven games, rather than, because otherwise it's just let's just take what causes the most annoying, stuff. It's worth playing. It's definitely worth playing and giving a go. I think the great thing is you can have a good game without any heroes, and it's still quite fun. Well, it's still very fun. Or you put in heroes who have not really got any special abilities, and it's a good system. Somebody else, who is it? There's someone in the group used it for Baron's War period. I'm sure someone in the group used Middle Earth strategy battle game for a different period, like for a historical period as well. I'm sure they did.
Can't remember.
I have to go dig that post out.
Interesting.
What about you?
For me, I'm gonna. Well, I mean, based on the principle that we've just given on what is a skirmish game, I have to put Sharp Practice as up there, because for me, I've often said I think it's actually my favourite game system, bar none. I just think it's such a clever game. I really enjoy it. I enjoy the mechanics of it, the variability of it. I enjoy the fact that, as you say, with that sort of Middle Earth game, I think Sharp Practice is very best when it's a scenario or some kind of mission that you've got to accomplish, where it isn't just line. It doesn't work very well as just sort of line up and have a battle. It works well when you've sort of got to escort the cart off the board, or rescue the damsel from the dastardly French officer or something like that. That's when it works really well as a game, I think. And which for me is that's that sort of scenario definition of I have in my head is more around sort of missions, if you like, that you can accomplish. Is kind of what I think of as a skirmish game, I think, more than anything else. But yeah, that would be mine, definitely. But I agree with you on Dead Man's Hand as well. I think that's an absolute fantastic one. Yeah. All right. Let's. Oh gosh, I'm conscious time is whistling by. Should we do a bit of what we've been working on, and then we'll do another one, and then we'll do a bit of news, and then see what everyone else has been saying. I'm sorry, we forgot. I missed that because we did the impromptu. It threw me off completely. So let's have a look at what we've been working on the last week or so. What about you, Ken? You got something in your mouth, so I'm going to go to you.
Sorry.
What have you been working on?
No, I don't get to hobby unless it's Monday nights now. So
that's it.
I'm just there. That's it.
So you've done is come on 2 streams. That's what you've done.
Yeah, I'm in the middle of basing Space Marines and Custodies and Imperial Guards. So that's what I'm doing at the moment. There you go. Awesome. What about you, Steve? I see you've been up to your weirdness again.
I've had quite a productive week.
Yeah.
Quite a productive week. It's very strange for me. So, as I mentioned last week, I have
red card, Martin. Just saying that. Sorry, not. Yeah.
What did I do?
Not you, Martin.
What's to say? What did I do?
No. Red card.
Yeah, so last week I was talking about how I discovered the awesome, bit late to the game with this, but one-page rules, Grim Dark Future. Because I've been looking for, I've had this sci-fi gaming itch that I wanted to scratch for ages, and I was looking at
rampant.
Well, there is that, yeah. Excuse me. So I went digging through the stash, and I found my old Space Marine army that I painted. Oh crikey! Back in 2008, 2009. And so what I wanted to do was sort of give it a fresh coat of paint and some new bases. And I actually painted that in a week.
Oh wow!
Oh, nice.
That is awesome. Oh, very cool.
Just your generic chapter.
It's just generic, yeah. They're not Space Marines. They're Battle Brothers, as they're called in Grim Dark Future.
They're French.
But well, they could. So yeah, that's 1,500 points right there. So I'll only have a need to add another 500, and that's kind of my gaming limit. But it was really nice just getting back to painting old school Space Marines. There's just something. These are called Firstborn because of the Primaris. The big Marines. These are now called Firstborn.
The real Space Marines. Fuck the Primaris.
The base is dead simple to make. It's just cork, grit, and weathering pigments, but they do go a long way to really improving them. And so that's 10 of them. Yeah. So I was like, I've got a full army here that I can actually play straight away. I don't have to buy any. All the rules free, completely free. So I was then planning my second army, and if you've seen the army lists for one-page rules or Grim Dark Future, they're very loosely based on Games Workshop or 40k armies. So there's Havoc Brothers, which is Havoc Chaos. And Eldar are the High Elven fleets. So I was looking around for figures to add to this Eldar army. Ken mentioned last week that he was buying, secondhand pre-painted stuff off online. So I went digging around my stash again, and I found my old Cadians, my old Imperial Guard. So again, I've managed to, with those and some Stargrave sprues, I've managed to put together 1,500 points. Zero money. The most I've spent is £8 on some bases, and I've got two full armies to use for it.
You might want to keep an eye on the raffle because some lovely person, I think it's Andy Oval, has donated Gaunt's Ghosts, the set in there, the chunky one.
I might have to keep an eye out for that. So I've been painting them over the weekend. I completed my first 5 or 6. So that is a company commander and 5 veterans.
Very
cool. Nice.
I wanted to. I mean, again, these are old. I painted these in 2013, but they've had a nice sort of updated paint scheme. Didn't do anything with the bases apart from put some weathering pigment on them. And yeah, I'm quite close to finishing another 1,500 points. But yesterday I worked on. These are a blast from the past. Sentinels.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Again, old kits, but really, really nice.
They're fiddly to put together, those, aren't they? Those bloody legs are a nightmare.
Well, luckily I built these 10 years ago, so I didn't have to do anything with them. They've just been in the stash for ages. Anything with them. So I've been working on that. But over the weekend, I also did some work on my Zulu project as well. And I finished a second command base.
Sound like Dom.
Oh, lovely.
The amount of stuff you've done this week.
It's been really productive this week.
That's very cool. Oh, I've got that guy. That's the Empress one, isn't it?
It is, yes. So that's the yeah. I think I've uploaded the same picture twice. Bollocks. Oh no, I have. It's just a different angle. Yeah. So the two, the guy on the horse and the messenger chap, they're metals from Empress, and the casualties are from Perry's. But yeah, really productive week. I don't know. I'm painting that 40k stuff. I think I mentioned it on the Facebook group. I've listened to a lot of Dawn of War soundtracks. It's quite thematic when you're painting 40k, but it's also it's also sort of reinvigorated my interest in 40k. Last week I started rereading the Adeptus Mechanicus book, Scitarius. I've really enjoying my 40k lore at the moment, even though I won't be playing 40k.
No, it's weird, isn't it?
I know so tonight I'm working on more Definitely Not Cadians. I've got after tomorrow I'm off the rest of the week for CrackCon, so I'm hopefully going to get a lot more done over the course of the week as well. Yeah, very productive week for me. Lots of coffee.
You certainly have been busy, haven't you? Blimey. What about you, Martin?
So my week last week was taken up by working on a massive hideous. That's a name of a Death Guard, surely. Anyway, I was working on a big report. But what I was working on is 2 command bases for the game at CrackCon for Caesar's Gallic Wars. I needed to do a base for Vercingetorix, and I realized that I needed to do another one for the Romans, otherwise potentially Caesar was going to be used as not Caesar, and I wouldn't be able to cope with that. So so I've done Vercingetorix. So here he is. Here's the dude himself on a rather large base this time.
Tactical rock.
Wow, that is a tactical rock.
Most of it's actually dirt. There's actually only one rock on there. Most of it's dirt, but from this distance you probably can't tell. But he's on there. But I decided to kind of leave him a bit. There's only him and his standard bearer and a dead Roman on there. Because I thought there was quite a lot going on with him, and I didn't want to sort of like overdo it. So you got his little standard bearer there carrying the head.
The ubiquitous head. Yes.
Well, yeah, and then when you go back round the back, you find the Roman that it belongs to. So that was a lot of fun. But it's a pretty imposing figure. Also, I really like that figure. It's also very sort of.
It's quite cartoony, isn't it?
But it's quite cartoony and also massive compared to everyone. So it's a good head taller than the guy behind him. So I had to kind of, for perspective, I had to kind of chuck this guy a little bit further back anyway. So that was for the Gaul, so that he'll be leading the Gallic horde in the Battle of Gregovia, which is gonna be cool. And then I needed someone to be he's called Petronius, and he was a legate, but I didn't have a legate, so I just used the standard bearer that you get free from with the Gallic Wars book, and that'll do. He's been demoted. Maybe it's meant to be the standard bearer that jumped in the water when Caesar invaded Britain and got everyone to follow him. But I decided to do a bit of a let's protect the standard kind of thing. So nice. We've got multiple. This is what I was sticking together last week, and I knew I had extra arms, and I was trying to find them, but I was one arm down, which is why that shield on the fallen guy at the bottom, he's got no arm, but the shield is over the top of it anyway. So God bless big Roman scutums, because that was fun. I wanted to do a bit more of a sort of a scene with him, and then you've got the chap round the side who's had his hand cut off, and lots of spare arrows been popped in the ground. So that was fun again. So that's all. They're all warlord figures. Here he is with his. That was Vercingetorix leading his men. That's what that one was. There you go. Gives you an idea of what to expect on the day. And then just because I could, here's a bunch of Romans defending their standard on a hill, about to get wiped out, which isn't at all what I think is going to happen on the day. But yeah, so I basically did two command bases. We've been sorting a lot of stuff for CrackCon out, so that's kind of taken over as well. But I'm just working on my Natal mounted horse to have a bit of a break from swords and sandals. So
swords and sandals, I love it. Yeah, awesome. Yes, same. Really. I had a pretty productive week again myself. So what did I do? Where are they? That's it. I did some more ACW.
Really?
A lot more ACW. Yeah, just for a change. So this was another Confederate regiment finished. I forget which one it was, to be honest, if I'm honest. But it did see this table, didn't it, Ken? We had a battle.
Yes, it did.
Friday. Yeah,
it was really good, actually.
We had a good game. Yeah, a really good game. It was quick, to be absolutely honest, considering there were a lot of figures on the table. It was a quick game. So I did them, and these were 3D prints Confederates that Ken gave me a while back. So printed them up, painted them up as another battalion.
Oh, nice. I love the guy that's getting shot with his hat in his.
Yeah, there were quite a few of those sort of quite dynamic.
Yeah,
being shot figures in that selection.
Yeah, I quite like it as well because they're not. Like I said to you before, there's no doubles. They're all individual, and you got the drummer boy who's actually a boy.
Yeah,
not a bloke. So,
yeah. They are a smidge tiny, it's smidge slight. So I mean, it's fine when they're in a whole regiment together, but if you mix them with Perrys, you'd notice the difference. That's for sure. So, but yeah, that was them. And then I did some dismounted cavalry, Confederate cavalry, to because I realized I need to work through some cavalry next. I've done probably enough infantry. I need some more cannons and cavalry. So so the mixture of the footmen are mainly Perrys, so some metals and plastics. And then I've forgotten who the horse holder is. I keep forgetting the name of it. But anyway, they're all done. So that was good. And I've also done them in much more open stance. So the bases are 4 figures, whereas I'd normally have 6 on that size base, just to denote the fact they're in a skirmish formation. And then finally, I've been working through more Landwehr. So that's another one done because I need these for the battle on the weekend. So that's 2. I've just about finished a 3rd, and then I've got a small one to do, which is all the figures I've got. So that should be. But if it isn't enough, that's going to be enough for the game. So yeah, not the most scintillating figures in the world, those Warlord ones, but hey, they're quick to paint if nothing else. So. Yeah, that's what I've been doing. And tonight, John, I am basing French Napoleonics. Would you believe?
Don't
know why.
Yeah, in French.
Yeah, I know. I found them. They were half painted, and I just thought I'd better finish them off. So I did. They're French Voltigeur regiment. So yeah, that's what I've been up to. So there you go.
Don, when can we look forward to your comprehensive video on Confederate uniforms?
Do you know what? I'm so tempted to do one just because of the comments I would get. It's just made me laugh so much. It's made me laugh so much. How I was saying down the club the other night, I have never known so many comments about uniforms as I've had on the American Civil War, which was not what I was expecting at all. Bear in mind, I've done Napoleonics for years. It just seems extraordinary. Anyway, there you go. Right. Okay, let's get back to skirmishing. It's okay. We can continue because Yorkshire Gamer's here.
Excellent.
So,
the expert on skirmish games himself.
Absolutely, it's right in his sweet spot, isn't it? As they say. Right, so we've done our first choice for a game, skirmish game. Let's have a look at the second one. Martin, what's a second game for skirmish?
So I was in the end I went with my gut on this. I nearly went for something else, but I went with Saga because I like Saga, but specifically the Viking Age.
Yeah,
because the idea of Triarii and 4 Triarii in the skirmish game kind of I find weird, being a unit. So I really like the Viking Age in Saga. I think it's really good. I really like the fact that it's not a straight up historical game. The whole point of it is it's meant to be larger than life. It's meant to be here like tales of great warriors, great warlords leading their men, rather than some guy leading his men and then just getting shot through his visor and then just left on the floor. So I like that. I do like the battle boards and the synergy in them. It takes a little bit of picking up to Saga. You can't. I wouldn't say you can readily pick it up and play. Maybe you could if you weren't using like the advanced abilities, but once you get to know your battle board and the kind of combinations you can pull off, I think that it's a great deal of fun, and I think it does really, really well at picking out that type of warfare. So, this is one of the games I had against Robin, and this is it. This is, I think that's 2 free units, while a unit half guard were defending their warlord on the bridge. My warlord got chopped to pieces on the bridge. But these are pretty much the size games that we play. It's each unit's got 4, 8, or 12 guys in it.
Mm-hmm.
You normally have, I would say, 5 or 6 units aside, sometimes a bit less. 6 points is fairly standard for a game. And it's got some interesting mechanics in it. But yeah, I'd say Saga. I think especially in the Viking Age, it absolutely, I think, characterizes warfare at that period and adds a bit of a sort of a heroic twist on it. So that's my shout. I think it's dead easy to get into as well. So.
I like Saga. I still not sure I necessarily think of it as a skirmish game, but yeah, I can see why you treat it as such.
I think it's a skirmish game because skirmish warfare because it was the predominant warfare at that point. I mean, my army has only got 4 units in it, and 2 of those units have only got 4 guys. And again, the individual, because they all contribute to the unit stats. Like the unit doesn't have statistics, and because points are entirely the points in the game. Massacre points they're called, aren't they? In Saga is entirely based on the number of individuals that you kill. It matters, and it's not per unit you wipe out, although you get a bit of a bonus if you do wipe out the entire unit at the end. It's all just based, like free levy are worth 1 point, 2 warriors are worth 1 point, a half guard is worth 1. So for that, I think Vikings invading villages and Saxons forming little bands to chase them off. That's it. I don't think it does well at other time periods, but I've said that before.
What do you
other game?
8 men doesn't make a pipe block. We'll just the rocket pipes. I mean, I agree with you. I think I like Saga as a game. I think it's a really clever game. Gives me a headache because it is a real,
especially if you play Graham.
Oh, gross! You play Graham. I mean, that you really have to be on your metal to play Graham. It's a good system, as you say. I like the battle boards. I think they work really nicely, and I think you're right as well. There's certain ones that work for me quite well. I actually quite like the Age of Magic.
I think I've played that once, and it was hilarious. It really was. I will just say I nearly picked another I was going to pick muskets and tomahawks, right? But then I remembered Shako and bayonets, and I hated it. So I was like that was as big because that shows to me where a system completely just didn't work. Muskets and tomahawks for the French Indian War, for the skirmishing in the American War of Independence and in Age of works perfectly. For me, works really, really well. Putting it into Napoleonics didn't for me. I think it might when they released the ACW. I think doing that kind of guerrilla warfare, that kind of stuff could work. I don't know if it will for when they do like the Victoria, like the colonial stuff. I don't know. So I really enjoy the French Indian War version of Muskets and Tomahawks, but I think I enjoy Saga a bit more. So Saga was my one.
Good. Good selection. What about you, Steve? What's your second
This
offering?
is a bit of a one from left field, but I did see somebody mention it in the chat, so it's not just me. I'm going to go with Blood Bowl.
Yeah, there were quite a few comments about Blood Bowl, actually. Yes.
Again, it's just a game that's fun. So you can't play Blood Bowl without laughing, because it's just, whether it's ogres throwing goblins over the line of scrimmage, or people being pushed into the crowd and beaten up, or when, for me, it's always there's a mechanic call when you go for it.
Yeah.
So when you run into it and you got to roll, and if you get a one, bump down, and guarantee, I've fallen over so many times when going for it. It's not even fun. But it just harkens back to a different time for Games Workshop. I started playing Blood Bowl 30 years ago. It was 1994. I started playing it. Would have been second or possibly third. It was one with the it was, you got orcs and humans in the starter box, and you had like Griff Oberwald and the Mighty Zug, or these star players you can either hire or.
I think it's the second, isn't it?
I was second. Yeah, and we played a full league over the school holidays. 6 weeks of playing Blood Bowl. It was absolutely fun. We had 5 copies of the game. And we were all out in my mate's back garden, actually every day, the school holidays, just playing Blood Bowl. It was fantastic. But it's just a great game. Again, low figure count. You got your team. You got casualties, obviously. It's played on a board, so space wise, it's quite small. But it's just, again, for me, it's just a fun game to play. Some of the scenarios you end up in. When you can finish you finish a turn and half your team are like either dead or knocked out or casualties. And there's the campaigns are sort of playing the league as well. There's no greater thing than seeing like a rookie player ended up, really expensive, festooned with skills, and be able to just avoid everybody. Or on the flip side, my chaos team were just all mutants, and they just used to kill everyone. Rather than play the man. That's it. It's easier to score a touchdown when all the opposition are unconscious. And that for me is, I know somebody mentioned it, that I've painted 2 armies faster than it took me to paint a Blood Bowl team. I've only ever actually so the edition that came out, the edition that I've got now came out in 2016, I believe.
Right.
Christ, 8 years ago. And I've managed to play a couple of games with that, and there was an edition released after that, but I'm not getting involved in that. I'm sticking with the one that I've just painted a bunch of figures for, and I'm currently working on another undead team, so I have 4 teams. But yeah, great game, just highly recommended. It's just, again, just so much fun to play. Really is fun.
Controversial thing from Carl. Blood Bowl, is that not a sports game rather than a skirmish game?
Well, there's violence.
Yeah, well, exactly.
There's fight. I mean, for me, it's half football, half fighting. In fact, that's the best part of it. I mean, who needs to score touchdowns when you can spend the time kicking the snot at the opposition? That's the best part about it. So,
fair enough.
Great game. It's got a massive community online as well. Really, really big community. But yeah, highly recommended.
It certainly remains one of the most popular games, I think, for longevity.
Brilliant. Just a fantastic game.
What about you, Ken? What's your second choice? If somebody should try as a skirmish game.
Operation Squad. Martin again.
Yeah.
Introduced me to it, the bastard.
That's a great
Brilliant game. That is. Yeah, it is a really good game.
That game is so unforgiving.
Yeah, it's not. You can't make a mistake in it. You have to really, really think. It's it is. If you get something in a good position, like you get a machine gun in a good position, it just takes out the whole team. It's like instant. And it's just, oh yeah, turn 1. Okay, yeah, this machine gun's here. Oh, I'll just run this guy out. Dead. Next guy, dead. Next guy, dead. Game over. Done. Okay, I won't do that again. Yeah, it's very, if you like a realistic sort of stats lines, it's definitely on that line, isn't it, Martin? Wouldn't you say?
Yeah. Oh, very, very much. I mean,
it plays weapons how they're meant to, how they actually are.
The weapons list is insane. It's huge. It's comprehensive. It doesn't just give a a blanket value to rifles.
This is a bolt action rifle.
It's Car 98, Nagant,
the Enfield,
they've all got separate profiles. So, and you can play it with, and the most I've played it with is 9 guys, I think.
Yeah, we played like an 8-man game, didn't we?
Yeah, but I took ones of really, really low quality, and that's why it was over by turn 2. Like they just got it really is. I really like it. It's a good game. There are rules for vehicles in there where but I've never bothered. I've never bothered. I just sort of, to me, that part of it didn't interest me. But I forgot. Yeah, you just had like just 8 normal guys, but I was attacking you, wasn't I? Saying trying to get you, and you absolutely rinsed me. Very, very swiftly. It's got a good activation reaction system in it. So
I was going to say, I've got the rules, and the one I've not played it yet, but the one part I like about it is that reaction, because what you end up with is like a couple of seconds worth of like Hollywood sort of,
Yes,
it's good.
It's the whole sort of, right, what are you going to do? My guy, you have to state it. My guy is going to run to here and throw a grenade. So you put down the little order token next to him to say what he's done. Then are you going to react? And you have the choice, yes or no. Yes, I am. What are you going to do? I'm going to shoot him when he comes around the corner. All right, so you put that down. Are you going to do anything? So it goes back to the other player. Yes, when that guy pops out to shoot the guy that's running around the corner, I'm going to shoot him. So you put the little token, and you can do this up to 3 times, and then you roll an initiative dice at each of them to actually find out what order everything happens in. So it could be that the guy who is going to shoot the one who's coming around the corner is actually goes first, in which case he's prepared for when the guy comes around. He's giving it away somehow, so he just so as soon as he comes around, he just drills him, and that's it. Or the guy runs around the corner, gets shot, the grenade falls at their feet, and then it blows up, taking out the other guy. You liked it, didn't you, Ken? Because you could actually throw grenades at it. That was
grenades actually had a use. That. They actually worked. It was really good. It is a really fun game. The pain in the ass is finding the rules for it now.
It's on Wargames Vault.
Yeah, it's there, mate. But I like a physical copy.
All right.
I mean, you could just get it through Docs Direct. It'd probably be in better condition because mine's falling apart.
That's what I did with mine. It's got it spiral bound. Really, really good.
Yeah. Cool. That's a good choice. I'm struggling because I don't play that many skirmish games. So I was thinking about what I've played recently that I consider to be good fun game that would be a skirmish game. And the one I'm going to throw out is maybe a bit of a curveball, but Acton Panzer. Which was the obviously the Warlord game that came out fairly recently, which is just 2 or 3 tanks on each other. And I kind of like it because it's tanks and they're cool. I love a good tank battle. Plus, I think it's actually surprisingly there's enough sort of micro granular kind of activity within it, but still playable. Sometimes bloody impossible to hit anything, which is but which is one thing I have a little frustration with it. But I actually really enjoyed it more than I thought I was going to. And listening to some of the stuff that came out of the Warlord Open Day, it sounds like they're going to be doing a desert version very soon, and one features a lot of early war tanks, which could be interesting, I think.
I'm still holding out for I mean, again, it probably wouldn't take too much to work it out yourselves, but a Conflict 47 version of it.
It'd be cool.
So, but then I suppose that's walkers and stuff, or just putting lasers on tank. It was quite fun. I've enjoyed the games we played of it. We have got another one that's sitting there where I've got to paint up a really big tank that they sent me actually, and I enjoyed it but then I'm not particularly invested in the period, so I don't care about the thing. I like tanks and making a cool board, and that was enough for me. Although I will say that painting those tanks was probably my worst painting experience.
Wasn't your thing at all, was it?
No, it wasn't. I just got angry as I was doing that.
I quite like painted tanks. I don't like making the tanks. That's the thing that drives me extremely frustrated. But the actual painting them is not a problem for me. But yeah, it's funny. It came out with a massive sort of push by Warlords, and it seems to have sort of sunk into the background again completely. But yeah, I still think it's quite a good game, and I would like to have another game of it at some point, so I will. But, hey. Yeah. Andy agrees. Says, Acton Panzer is a great skirmish game. I think it is. I really like that.
Yeah.
All right. Right. Let us have a little pause and do some news, and then we'll come back and see what other people have been suggesting, because there's been so many comments. So keep them coming. What's your recommendation of a skirmish game that you think somebody should have a crack at, and why? Put it in the chat. Love to know. And so there's been lots of suggestions, lots of contributions on the Facebook page already, which reminds me, make sure you are a member of the Facebook page. The link's down below. And you just have to answer 3 simple questions that if you are a genuine gamer, you'll be able to answer with your eyes closed.
Some people recently have failed.
There was one that did actually answer the questions, but his profile was something like D-dum, D-dum, D-dum.
Oh, right. I didn't see that. I've just seen a lot where they're just not answering questions. And maybe you think you're still on holiday, Dom. Maybe that's
I think possibly.
Yeah, there was one that was really sarcastic, and I let them in think saying you'd fit right in. So that was my sort of rationale.
It's just to try and stop the 3D printers and the spammers. That's what it's there for. Anyway, right. So let's do a little bit of some of the news, because there's been some really interesting stuff.
Yeah.
So hold on one second. Let me hit the old button. There we go.
I'm not totally worth it.
Yeah, exactly. It's such an anticlimax, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm going to go first because I saw you try to pinch one that I had already got. So.
I know which one you're going to put up.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, but I got a better screenshot. I got the better shot.
You haven't. I got the price.
Who cares about the fucking price?
All right, going to start off with
do it.
Our friend Lucas at.
No,
I'm going to do this one first. Our friend Lucas at,
that's great as well.
Piano. So I think this was due to go live. So this is, Lucas, who does piano miniatures, some of the best modeled Napoleonics I think you'll find out there. So we had him on a few months ago now, talking about his what his projects to be are. So the next one, which is obviously more of the Danube campaign figures, Old Guard, Austrian Grenzers, and all sorts of other stuff there coming out. I thought it was due to be out by now, but I think it's been pushed back maybe to the back end of the month. But if you go and you hunt for it in the Kickstarter, you can get pre-notification because they are awesome. It does them in, you better get them in metal as well as STL files if you wish, but really good stuff. Fantastic looking models. Can't wait for that to go live.
Yeah.
I don't need any, but I'll probably still buy some.
I mean, why not?
Yeah, why not? Showed this one on the Facebook page. This is Empress is Walker Bulldog for the Vietnam period, which
yes,
I know there's a lot of excitement about Vietnam at the moment, but it's a nice little model, that actually. Rather nice model. Nice little tank. Also, Ian at Flags of War has put up some new figures for his Border Reavers game, which is actually another one that would be on my list of skirmish games because I think it's a really neat one. Oh, crikey, I've just lost it. Here we go. So that's not Blackadder at all, obviously.
Absolutely not. Yeah,
absolutely not. So the reminder, this is a cracking little game, and I actually really like it. And I haven't played it and I really must get it back out again. It's really, really clever as a little skirmish game. It's obviously set in the borders between England and Scotland. The raiding and the counter raiding that went on between all the different families, stealing each other's livestock, vendettas and all that kind of good stuff. And it's a really clever little game, card based, or the characters have individual cards for them, which give them certain attributes and what have you. And it's a very nice little game played on a small board. So that's the new Queen's Envoy Party Mounted. You notice it's only for pre-order at the moment and won't actually be delivered until December. But if you're interested in this, put your order in. There's also March Wardens dismounted versions there, which you can pick up, and then a set of them with their mounted equivalents, which I kind of like, because being a skirmish game, you can have them a horse and then the horse can get killed, or they can dismount and then you've got the figure for them on foot as well. And then the Queen Envoy set, again, with their mounted and dismounted versions, which I think is really cool. And then the other one that we were talking about quite a lot the other day is this one.
Yeah,
came out of the blue a bit, didn't it? This is the Once and Future King. So it's a Hail Caesar supplement around the Arthurian period for Warlords. And I didn't see this coming. Did you, Martin?
No, they mentioned at the open day that they had supplements ready to go, and there was this hint of the 100-year war one that I think they were on about for at some point. But they did say more. But no, this kind of came out of nowhere. I kind of got the notification about it, and I'm very excited because I do love any facet of the King Arthur, whether that's the legend or we look at the historical stuff. I'm very excited about that, and also just because of what they've done. Well, obviously we don't know what they've done with the rules, but in it they've given the idea that there's going to be a bit more of an emphasis on heroes, and how those are going to actually work in game. I don't know. I don't know whether it's simply they're just going to be commanders, or whether it's going to be a case that they're almost like little unit attachments or upgrades. I don't know. It's got 2 campaigns in it, allegedly. It's also got multiple. It looks at multiple different Arthurs. It looks at like the traditional sort of legend of the historical Arthur, if you like. It also looks at the Geoffrey of Monmouth one, who managed to travel all around the country in about a week, and then invade Gaul and take on the Roman Empire. So I'm very excited about it. That would be
I am too, because I kind of was thinking I might actually break out the old Warhammer Ancient Battles version of this, because it's kind of a really fun period. And as you say, just having those, I think it's one historical period that really works with some sort of special characterization within it, because it fits within the histories. Because we know a lot of what we know about from Arthurian period is not necessarily well formed as historical reference material. So there's a lot of it is from sagas and various other things. So it's a bit fantasy, which I think works well with that. So I'm interested to see what they do and how they balance it out.
Yeah, I think it could be really interesting, and I think they've put the traditional 12 great battles of Arthur. They've put those together as a little campaign that you can play. I mean, that's you get the free model. That's Agravain you get free if you pre-order it. You get, or if you just order it online, you get Agravain. They've re-released their King Arthur and Knights in Warlord Res, and I think there's a couple of extra ones in there as well. And I don't know if there's some newbies in there as well. And there's a lot of other companies as well that do Arthurians. Victrix Covenant, Wargames Atlantic Covenant, Gripping Beast. I've got a load that I was going to use for Dux Britanniarum, but I've never really kind of got around to it. So I might just put them on multi-bases and I'll essentially have an Arthurian army. I mean, and again, those are not going to be massive battles. Those are going to be, fairly small. I mean, next year, CrackCon, Arthur's Last Stand, Battle of Camlin, we'll do that. Mordred.
Really
so many choices.
I don't think it's Keira Knightley, though. No, I don't think so.
Do you know what? I did rewatch that film fairly recently, and I realized that comparing it to stuff that comes out now, it's nowhere near as bad as I thought it was. And I actually could like it quite a lot, and not just because of the Keira Knightley bit. So.
Twice nightly. Rich said that Warlords thing, they mentioned there's an Italian War supplement and 100 Years supplement.
Yeah.
And also a Boer War supplement.
Yeah, the Boer War one was interesting because that was I think very much a Stallard interest
definitely
kind of thing. So yeah, there's plenty coming. I think they are going to start to ramp up releases.
Definitely seems that way. What else have you got then, Martin?
I have got, so sticking with Warlord, they have put out Peninsula British for Epic.
Yes.
Which nobody really seemed to care about on the forum. Because they were just like,
that, wasn't it? Everyone was moaning when I saw all the moaning about when it went up, when they started the Epic. They said, what about Peninsula? What about this? And then they've done the Peninsula and everyone's like, oh, whatever.
Well, these are in the resin. They're not plastic. And if you want the battery, you'll have to get that separate. But yeah, I mean, there you go. That's there if you want them. Yeah, that's I don't understand.
Not much more to say about that, is there?
There's not a lot more to say. Next up, Fireforge have got their Samurai Commanders now on pre-order. The multi-part plastics now has been
not interested.
There's been a lot of stuff on these. I've seen some of the really cool stuff. I think Matt, who's Matt Render, he's put up some of his battle reports on the group. They look awesome when they're all done. They really, really do. So those are on the way. So I imagine that will keep people happy. Now, Dom, what do you reckon to these?
No! There's a hobby horse. I can't look at it. Oh God!
Right.
Oh, that hobby horse is fantastic.
These are the fish gnomes from the Conquest game.
Oh, of course,
the large scale. And whilst they would never be in an army, they're just there as like little painting things, basically. But you can buy this pack, and it's just one of those like little silly things that they release sort of around when you get towards the holiday season. But there's one for each of the armies, I think, representing a different army. But I put them on here because I thought they were fun. So yeah. And then we did mention this earlier. I think it's next week. I'll have to just double check. But the Dead Man's Hand mounted gunfighters are going on to Kickstarter. So plastic multi-part mounted gunfighters, which I'm sure will excite some people. So they'll be going up. So do womble over to Kickstarter, have a look at the Great Escape Games page, and you'll find their pre-orders. So that's pretty much it. I did see something about a new kill team. Games Workshop, we've got a new kill team starter, which is Marines v Marines. And what interested me about it though is GW had MDF scenery in it.
Really?
Okay.
So I don't know if that's going to be something that they're going to start to look at to do a bit more. To be honest, I'm surprised they haven't already. I know they make plastic kits, but MDF stuff would be, I imagine, quite easy for them to get into. So yes, there's a new kill team starter. I did get a picture of it, and I can't find it to upload it, so I don't know what happened to it. But yeah, so if you're interested in kill team, go check that out.
Cool, excellent. We seem to be a man down. He's obviously
he's just had to go to something to do with the baby, so he's had to go.
Okay. A reminder also for those who saw last week's stream that the competition to win
Yes.
These kits, the Fallschirmjäger Winter Platoon and also the US Infantry Winter Platoon from Warlord Games, which is coming to you via Boards and Swords, is still available. So you just need to, I forgot what we had in the end. What do we have as the
no, it was just saying nuts or bulge.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Nuts or bulge.
Since last Monday, I've got notifications on my phone. When I open it, it just says nuts and bulge. I'm going to be on some kind of special list after this. You do realise that?
You already are, mate. Don't worry. With all the glue and stuff.
All the glue, yeah.
So yeah, if you want to win these, there'll be one going to one person and one going to another person. Comment on last week's stream on the recording on Steve's channel on Point HQ.
There's
with
currently 44. There's 44 entries currently.
Awesome. So there you go. So thanks once again to Ian at Boards and Swords, and a reminder that get over there if you need to get any of your hobbying goodness, and use the PCP5 code to get an additional 5% off. And likewise, anybody watching on the catch up, thanks very much indeed. Anybody's catching up on last week's one, thank you very much as well. That's all cool. So right, we are heading into the final bit of the show. So let's go back and have a look at some of the comments and suggestions people had for games, skirmish games. Where's all the comments gone? Oh, we go. Got an awful lot marked here. So, Fish Frenzy suggests Test of Honor.
That was my third one.
Thought it might be.
That was my third one because it's everything's in that box. It's loads of thematic, really nice sets. I just grabbed onto mine. That's a warband. There you go. That's everything that you can use in one. And I really, really like the combat in it. There's a real back and forth feeling in it, and there can also be downright disasters in it, like when you run, trip, and then someone just stabs you in the back of the head. I think it's a really well written and thematic system. Really, really do. So yeah, Test of Honor would always get my vote.
There you go. Benjamin says anything below 300 minis per army is a skirmish game. Yeah, well, yeah. I know. It says the man who's doing Hastings on a 1-to-1 scale. It was the anniversary. Was it last weekend?
It's today. No, it's today.
Today. There we go. We should be celebrating that day. Carl's definition of skirmish games. We were talking about what is a skirmish game. He said any game where the model is moved as individuals. I don't know. I kind of see where you're coming from, but I'm not sure I necessarily completely agree with that, because you can have skirmish games that are units, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, Flames of War.
True. Well, that's the same definition, but bolt action, I guess.
That's scale, to be fair, though, isn't it? The multiplayer is only little tiny figures.
Little tiny ones. Robin says DBA is a very small battle. It's so abstract, smaller than most skirmish games. Yeah, but it's also silly.
Don't hold back there, Dom.
Yeah. No, I was very restrained there, mate. I just said silly, not actually twash, which is what I was thinking. Trad suggests is bolt action is bolt action a skirmish game? Yeah. I think we said it was under our definition.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I would say so. Yeah, definitely on the. It's about thematics, it's about individual figures. Yeah. Lionheart suggestion. He's got the menu would be kings, bolt action, and 1 hour skirmish rules. He says the reason I play 1 hour skirmish is because you use playing cards, not dice, so it doesn't matter if you roll your dice poorly. I mean, Men Who Be Kings, I'm not. It sort of is a skirmish game by the definition of a bolt action sharp practice. It probably is, but I don't know. Maybe it's just the games I've played. It's been more of a stand up battle. But yeah, I can see where you're coming from that bolt action. Yeah, agreed. Have you played 1 hour skirmish rules? Anybody?
I haven't.
No.
No, not ones I'm familiar with. I've mentioned this before. I have an irrational dislike of card-based activation, where there isn't. I don't mind the activations, but card bases where there's no dicing for some reason. I can't get my head around it. Just can't. I know it's my all on me, but I just can't get used to it. Activation, yeah, love it. Sharp practice, fantastic, but instead of rolling a dice,
there's something tangible about rolling dice, isn't there?
There is. I think so. I think it's almost integral for me in a war game somehow. And if it's not there, it just feels wrong. I don't know why. John suggests, how about Cruel Seas as a maritime skirmish? I think that definitely meets the criteria, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's individual boats fighting it out on a ship to ship basis, so to speak. I think that's probably fair enough. And Joseph's come in with Blood Red Skies again. Likewise, I think we talked about this earlier. It's not just land-based games that can be skirmish. Certainly, things like Blood Red Skies and Cruel Seas and Black Seas and others could
seas.
Anything to do with boats is probably one as well. Friends of General Haig said, what about On Guard, Crossfire? And he's also put Men Will Be Kings. On Guard.
That's
I've never played it, but yeah,
that's a D'Artagnan-y game, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's another Blue Book one. Yeah.
Right. Now, yes, the Blue Book ones, they're interesting. So are they? By definition, I guess they are all skirmish games, aren't they?
More or less. There's some that aren't, like that ACW one that can.
Oh, yeah,
there are some in there that advertise themselves as mass battle. So, but you got like Ronin, you got Dux Bellorum, is it? Is that what that one's called?
Yeah, Dux Bellorum.
They're Arthurian one.
Chosen Men, there's one as well, isn't there? So,
yeah.
Hey, what Crossfire's always fascinated me. I think the mechanics behind that it just looks like a good game. You don't use measurements.
Oh, that's the one where you kind of move until someone does something to you.
It was done by Artie Cunliffe, and you essentially you move until you're stopped, until something happens that stops you from. So if you can go, I'm going to advance down there, and you get there, and you're like, right, okay, I'm going to advance a bit further, then you get spotted. Then the initiative shifts. Then
got you
to the other side. That's why I know Lindy Beige has done a whole like tutorial series on it.
Mm-hmm.
It's fascinating. It's something I want to try one day, but whether I'll get around to doing it, I don't know. But as soon as I heard about the mechanics, I was fascinated by it. I was like, this is really different. I do like it.
Yeah, I've seen it around for years, but never actually had a go at it. Glenn Durr's suggestion is a skirmish game is one that can be played in about 3 to 4 hours top. I don't know. I agree with that. I'll tell you why. We played a very big game of ACW 28mm Black Powder on Friday, as Ken referred to earlier, and it was over in about 2.5 to 3 hours. So by that definition, you would say that was a skirmish game, but it wasn't. There was an awful lot of figures on the table.
3 to 4 hours, you could get 5, 6, 7 games of Space Weirdos.
I would say I think it's more. I don't think it's about the game time, because also I've also known skirmish games that can go on quite a long time.
Oh yeah.
So I'm not sure timing has anything to do with it, but yeah, interesting. It's difficult when you actually start thinking about what is and what isn't. Lanshik says, "What a tanker! A fun skirmish game." Yeah, I know a lot of people love that. I've not played it myself. Oh, have I played it? I played it once, I think, and I was very drunk, so I'm probably not good to judge it on that.
Sounds like Rolly Birkin. I was very, very.
I was very, very drunk. It was the old bad days of going to wargame conventions and just going out at lunchtime and getting absolutely trolleyed, and then go back in and playing games, which is never a good thing to do. What about X-Wing?
Oh, that was going to be my third one.
Okay.
Yeah. It's 1-to-1, a ship to ship.
Yeah.
It's just a great skirmish game. There's no other way to describe it. Not sure about. I mean, I bet I've mentioned it about 1 million times, but I never got around to playing second edition. But first edition are literally one of the best tabletop games I've ever played. Good shout, Jonas. Absolutely brilliant.
Jonas also suggests Battlefleet Gothic.
Let's go back a bit, innit?
Yeah, I've never played that. Can't comment. But,
it's essentially set in the Warhammer 40,000 universe. Great big, massive spaceships.
Right.
All the things you love.
I'll put that on my Christmas list then, shall I? Daniel has a question. He says, "Is the second edition of Dead Man's Hand worth getting?" He plays the first and loves it.
I would say yes. I mean, I've got the first. I don't feel like it was a cash grab, which that some people do. The fundamentals haven't changed. There's a few things that have been tightened up and tweaked, but nothing major. I think there's just more clarifications, and it's a much nicer set out. So yeah, I'd say it's not essential, but if you want to and you just want a nice new book, then yeah, go for it.
Cool. There we go. I got it. And the one time I was about to play it, nobody else had the second edition, so we played the first one again. Can't say it really bothered me particularly, but both are really good games. Really enjoy it. Couple of comments on the Facebook page around things like I've lost it now. Mordheim.
Oh yeah, Mordheim in Necromunda. I think for a lot of people will be, if we're going to say, give the idea of a skirmish game is like a small gang of people, will be a lot of people's first introduction to it, I think. Because again, when you're in the GW thing, you wouldn't probably think of 40k as this is just a big skirmish. But yeah, Mordheim and that sort of whole campaign tracking, character development.
I think when we first started playing Necromunda, I think the idea of only having sort of 10 figures each, so it was so different from, because we've been playing a lot of 40k second edition, where if you were guard or orcs, you had lots of figures to paint and put on the table. Whereas with Necromunda, you got 10 figures in your gang. Yeah, brilliant. And just such a Mordheim for me is we never played Mordheim. And that is one of my biggest gaming regrets, because I know people are fanatically loyal towards it. I mean, games it's been out of production now for years, loads of years, but it's still being played. It's still a really active community.
One of those games that just never goes away. Interesting,
because people love it so much.
What about Frostgrave? That's another one that seems to have a very big following.
Yeah, I got a lot of friends that play that, but it's one that never really. I didn't dislike it. I just liked other things more.
Fair enough.
I've got the rule book. I've read it once. Never played it.
Yeah, because Double Dip has his favourite three are Stargrave, Blood Bowl, and Outremer, which is another one of the Osprey Blue books. Stargrave, that's an interesting one as well. You've done figures for that, haven't you?
Yeah, I used Stargrave for Space Widows and General Kit Bashery.
There was another couple of suggestions on the Facebook page of a couple of more modern systems, Force on Force and Ambush Alley. I never played. I would say I've not really played anything modern, so it's not something I know very much about. But it strikes me modern games are probably very, very good for skirmish.
I remember Little Wars I think they used Force on Force to recreate Fallujah. It was a really good game. That, I mean, whether people want to play that period is a completely different question altogether. But I think from what I've seen, again, Force on Force, it's a popular game system. And again, I would definitely say that was skirmish. Really, 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 yeah.
Yeah. A couple of other honourable mentions here. The Rampant Family. I know that'll be one of Martin's favourites.
I view that in the same way as you view SPQR. So if we can sit there and say that.
No, I'm with you. I'm with you. Rampant, but it's very popular, and a lot of people had it down there. Paul and a couple of other people pulled out Donnybrook. As,
that game you put on at CrackCon was
that looked
amazing, wasn't it? Wasn't it really good? What else? Couple of votes for Baron Wars. Never mind the Bill Hooks.
Yep.
Bag the Hun, another one. I think that's one of Alex's favourites, I think, from what I remember. Pig Wars. I have no idea what that is, but there you go. Somebody even came out with Infamy. I wouldn't say that's a skirmish game, but I suppose it's a bit like Sharp Practice, so maybe it is by definition. I don't know. Moonstone, I think we talked about that one earlier. Marvel Crisis Protocol.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. Yeah, definitely.
Silver Bayonets was another one. Canvas Eagles was another one, which I'm assuming is a First World War flying game by the sound of it. Somebody suggested Song of Blades and Heroes.
I've heard of it, but I can't recall anything about it.
No, not me.
Isn't that? I know people use that as a learning game, don't they? They say it's a really good way of getting people into the hobby.
Interesting. Robin said, "What about Games of Rome?" There's nobody voted for that.
No, good shout.
I mean, that's by definition a skirmish game, isn't it? I think pretty much.
Yeah.
What about Pulp Alley?
That was bloody good fun. That was really, really good. Really good. That's always worth checking out, especially if you like RPGs and narrative sort of storytelling. That is always really worked into the system really, really well.
And that kind of works for me quite well as a skirmish game. Anything that has I think that more and more I'm thinking about it. For me, that makes a skirmish game is more the narrative that goes around the game.
Yeah.
If you're just lining up troops and fighting it out, that ain't a skirmish game, no matter whether it's a 1-to-1 basis or not. But if it's you've got to get in, get out, or you've got to take something in, or whatever, stop somebody getting into a building or something, that's more of a, because it has a mission involved, has that sort of thing. To me, I don't know, in my head of recognizing what skirmish is. What else we got here? Yorkshire. My favourite 3 skirmishers are the ones with crossbows in front of my 128-man pipe blocks. Yeah, all right. Ambush Alley, Force on Force, great system, 5 to 30 figures. Yeah, I like that. Pete's Flag says Fistful of Lead. Interesting. Yeah, there's a couple of votes for 0200s. John says Pig Wars, Viking raids on Anglo-Saxon England. Great game. I don't know it. I really don't know it. There you go. Thank you, John. That's absolutely awesome. Also, a couple of late mentions of things like Blood and Plunder.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
That's a real winner. In fact, somebody did mention that on the Facebook page. I've just found it. So, yeah, that looks amazingly good. And it looks a really good game, doesn't it?
Didn't Hayley kick your ass in that?
Yes.
Yeah, we don't talk about that. She cheated.
She did.
Actually, she didn't cheat. It was the game master cheated in her favour. I mean, she probably would have kicked my ass anyway. To be honest. But, yeah. What else we got here? 0200. A couple of those come in, which I think is a. I know that's the system you love, isn't it?
Oh, I love it. Yeah, it's a great game. But again, it's a very specific rule set. I mean, when you start dealing with things like perception, you're not looking at a mass battle scale, are you?
Not really.
Come
not
on.
Really. Oh my goodness! 5 Leagues from the Borderland.
Oh yeah, that's a solo game.
Interesting.
Fantasy one.
Yeah, Yeah, there you go. James admitted I accidentally let Hayley fire at Dom twice in the same round. Yeah, and she wiped out off my force. Not that I'm bitter at all, James.
Oh God, no.
Not in the slightest. Anyway, I think that's probably gone through most of the comments. Thank you for everyone's suggestions. It's been fascinating, and there's stuff here that I've genuinely never heard of. Some of which I may look into, some of which I definitely won't. But there's some really, some of them stuff is just I don't even know. Someone mentioned Ruckus.
Yes,
I
didn't mean to say that. Demos of which will be at CrackCon, so do rock along and have a go. It's because I haven't actually played it yet.
Yes.
So otherwise, I'd probably, judging by what it's like, everything about that game I should like.
It should be one that would be on your list, but without playing it, you can't tell.
No, I'm not. I won't do that.
Awesome. All right. Thank you everyone for the contribution to that. Really appreciate it. Any more suggestions? Stick it in the Facebook page because I think people are always interested in different game systems to try out, whether they be skirmish systems or otherwise. And thank you, Bill, for the suggestion for the topic this week. Much appreciated. Anybody else has got any suggestions? Let us know. Really grateful for those. Shall we have a look at some of the pictures from the Facebook page? Again, I just pulled off a few to show just a soupçon of some of the best, just some of the stuff that caught my eye particularly. So a reminder, if you're not a member of the Facebook page, why not join it? And stick up, what you've been modeling, what your game, figure modeling. I don't want to see those others. Absolutely not. Any of the games you've been playing, that sort of thing, will be great. And also the projects you're working on, because there's some amazing stuff going on. So first up, let's have a look at where should we start with? We're going to probably see these on Saturday, but this is Alid's epic army for his ACW force.
Awesome.
Alid, you're a monster. Well done. Really good job.
That's impressive. Very impressive.
And the epic stuff does look so good when it's massed up like that, doesn't it? When it's massed. Fantastic. Art has been working on his Prussians for the Franco-Prussian War.
Oh, nice.
Oh, nice.
Really cool. That is an itch that I still need to scratch, and I'm thinking Valor and Fortitude. Just thinking Valor and Fortitude. So I've still got loads of those to paint up. Yeah, definitely going to happen at some point. Benjamin has been doing some of his Silver Bayonet figures.
Oh, nice.
Oh, nice. Cool.
They're real character. I think they're part of the French force. I nearly said faction. French force.
Oh.
Force. Sort of faction. This one for you, Martin. Gregory.
Oh, Percy.
Good old Percy.
I
recognise it's the first time he's done any sort of coats of arms.
Cracking. Very nice. Very, very cool.
Really
looks awesome.
Yeah.
I just love it when people have it, because it just makes the medieval battlefield just look awesome. Just having loads of guys with loads of different coats of arms and livery.
Completely agreed. There's a big fella from Kurt. Look at that thing. I did have that.
I said to Kurt, I've got that giant from Mantic, and it's been I took delivery of that in December 2022, and it's still half painted. I misjudged how big it is. It's massive.
It is. So my friend just pointed this out, and I think it's true. Every time I see this, don't you think it looks like Mick Jagger?
Yes.
Now you said that, I can't not see that anymore. Awesome. Jeffrey was showing off what he's been doing with his Second World War Russian forces. Nice. Obviously, there's a whole selection. This is just the infantry, and you can just see the tail end of the vehicles over there. But he had pretty good armor forces.
That's a fair whack he's got there.
That is enormous, isn't it? And I think did I hear that Stannard say that they're remodeling all the Russian bolt action figures? So they actually have the weapons attached to the arms. My goodness.
Yeah, apparently so. They're all getting new. Well, from what we've heard, all new plastic, because that that Soviet box, it's old, isn't it? I mean, it's really, really old.
Very old. Very, very old indeed. Matthew's Polish Lancers here.
Cool.
Oh, nice.
Very nice indeed. That looks like, are they the Victrix ones? I think they may well be.
The horses look like they are. So
yeah. It's a good. They're a lovely set. Those. Now James was at the other Partisan last Sunday, which is a show. I'm one of the Partisans I've got to go to because watching all the videos of what people have been putting on, it's amazing. They always look so impressive. But he was involved with the Battle of the Five Armies game.
Oh yeah,
right.
that backdrop where they've used the artwork from the cover.
Yeah,
the traditional cover that looked fantastic, and they were using the Midgard rules, weren't they? It was
they were,
Midgard,
I believe. Yes, the new Midgard rules. They were. Yes, and I mean, I saw lots of footage of it from various videos that people have done around Partisan, and then the pictures he put up on the Facebook page. It did look pretty impressive, has to be said.
Very cool. Very, very nice.
Oscar was showing off his
this is
samurai game. I mean, look at that. I mean,
didn't he say he was using Pikeman's Lament?
He was.
He was. Yeah, he
That's
was.
interesting.
It really, really did. It looked absolutely awesome. And I said to him, how did it play? And he was like, no, it worked. It worked out really, really well. It does look just absolutely awesome.
I think there is something particularly visually stunning about masked samurai games.
Yeah, absolutely.
In 28mm, yes.
In 28mm, yeah. Good clarification. In
good caveat there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or 10, or 15,
just
or
not
12, 6. Or 2.
Just not 6.
Just not 6. Yeah. Okay, we're unanimous in that one. Tony has been working on his Dunland Heroes for.
Oh, nice!
Oh, lovely.
Oh, I like them. Yeah, those. Oh, yeah, that's very cool. They look vicious.
Very good indeed. No, I have no idea what these are, but these are Pete's. I mean, things.
They are. I love what he does with the tones on the scales and how he's mixed like these cool blues and like deep reds. It just works really, really well. I like Lizard Men to look at. I did buy a box to try and paint up, and they're up there somewhere, and I can't make them look like that.
Didn't he say these are all contrast paints?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he's just like a lot of blending and feathering them out and stuff. They look. They do look. Really
I'd
love to have a little force like that for a game. I do. I think they look awesome.
Words fail. Simon, you're getting a yellow card for that. It's true, but
it's true.
Yeah. And Alex says apparently James is the author of Midgard. That'll be why they was using those rules. Good for him. That's good to know. What else we got here? Tim was showing off one of his battles. He was doing Romans against successors. There's a whole series of figure pictures or what have you. I just love the mass pikes.
I was going to say that's got pierced palms written all over it.
It certainly does.
Very, very cool.
Claret everywhere.
Certainly does. And then I'm going to finish up with. I think this is in keeping with the thing you had in the news just a minute ago, Martin. This is from Warren.
Oh my God!
Little battle droid. I mean, look at it. That is that's quite something.
I don't know why.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see where you're coming from that. So there you go. There's a little bit of a sampling from the Facebook page. Really appreciate everyone who puts their stuff up there. We just love watching it, just looking at what's going on, what people are working on. It's brilliant, and what games you play. So that is it for tonight. We are coming up to time. Next week you are going to see us. We wouldn't normally do it, as we mentioned. It's going to be on Martin's channel. It's going to be Martin's channel, and we've got War Bases on, haven't we, Glenn?
Yeah, Glenn's on. We're going to be chatting about what Warbases have been up to, what they've got coming out, because they've got quite a few things in the works, some of which they've just put out. And yeah, it's going to be interesting. We had a good old chat with him last time. We always have a good chat with him at the shows, don't we, when we see him? So yeah, he's going to be on. We all might be a bit tired.
Yeah, so keep the noise down.
Yeah,
because we'll probably be a bit delicate, so a bit tired.
Yeah, but if you just a reminder, if anyone has any questions about the weekend, please just email us. You've got email down below. Just ask us in the group, shoot us a message. But you've also got our numbers to be used sparingly in the case of emergencies. Just use Ken's.
Yeah,
so
he's a primary contact. Yeah.
Should have just put Ken's on, really.
Should have done. Really.
And a reminder, if you want to win any of the figures that Ian's giving away for the stream, so the Fallschirmjäger platoon or the US Infantry platoon, comment on Steve's channel from the video, from the recording from last week's show with nuts or bulge. We are afraid that it has to be only a UK person that wins, because Ian can't afford the postage, apparently. So, but if you want to pay the postage and you're outside of the UK, that's fine. I'm sure he'll sort that out for you. But that's the criteria, I'm afraid. We will all see you next Monday. Some of you, we will see you on Saturday, well, probably Friday as well, in the bar. Really looking forward to it. And yeah, I need to do some more painting, I think. Good stuff. Thanks for joining us. Thanks. Excellent. A really good week, and we will see some of you at the weekend, and we'll see the rest of you next Monday.
See you later.
See you, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.